We're so close to 1,000. One subscribe from you could be the one that unlocks it. Yellow heart. 2 weeks. 10 people. One woman recovering from surgery on a hospital bed with stitches that hadn't even healed yet. That's what my husband handed me. Not a question, not a discussion, an order. This Sunday, all 10 members of my family are staying at our house for 2 weeks. I looked at him, still weak, still in pain, and I said the only thing I could say. I just had surgery. Please wait until next weekend. He didn't even blink. He looked at me like I was an inconvenience, like my body wasn't worth 10 minutes of patience. And then, coldly, without a shred of care, he said 4 words that I will never forget. Just do as I said. I am a major in the United States Army. I have led soldiers under pressure. I have made decisions that saved lives. But in my own home, my own husband treated my pain like it was nothing. What he didn't know was that those 4 cold words were about to cost him everything. Because when his family arrived that Sunday, they were in for something none of them expected. My name is Sarah Walker. I've spent 12 years in the Army. I've served overseas, led convoys, trained soldiers twice my size, and never once backed down from a challenge. 3 weeks before that Sunday, I had a major surgery. Nothing life-threatening, but serious enough that my doctor gave me strict orders. Rest, no stress, no heavy lifting, no long hours on my feet. My body needed time. My mind needed peace. My husband, David, knew all of this. He drove me home from the hospital. He signed the discharge papers. He heard the doctor say the word, rest, at least 5 times. But David came from a big, loud family. The kind that shows up uninvited, stays too long, and expects to be fed like royalty. His parents, 3 siblings, their spouses, and children. 10 people. Under my roof. For 2 weeks. While I could barely climb the stairs without wincing. I wasn't asking him to cancel it forever. I just asked for 1 more week. Just 7 days to heal enough to stand on my feet without shaking. But David didn't see a wife who needed rest. He saw a woman who was, in his words, being dramatic. He told me his family's comfort mattered more than my recovery. He told me I was always making everything about myself. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I made a decision. If David wasn't going to protect me, I would protect myself. And I would do it in a way he would never forget. The days leading up to Sunday were quiet, too quiet. David acted like nothing had happened. He whistled while making coffee. He talked about how excited he was to see his family. Not once did he ask how I was feeling. Not once did he offer to help me prepare the house, even though the doctor said I shouldn't be lifting boxes or scrubbing floors. So I didn't lift a single box. I didn't scrub a single floor. Instead, I called my commanding officer and requested a few days of approved leave, using my medical recovery as the reason. Completely true, completely documented. I called my sister, who is a nurse, and asked her to come stay with me starting Saturday night. And I made one more phone call, one that would change everything about that Sunday. I called David's mother. Now, David's mother and I never had the closest relationship, but she respected honesty, and she respected effort. I told her calmly, professionally, the way I would brief a commanding officer, exactly what had happened. I told her about my surgery. I told her about my doctor's orders. I told her that David had insisted the visit go forward anyway, despite my condition. There was a long pause on the phone. Then she said something I didn't expect. He told us you were fully recovered and excited to host us. My stomach dropped. David hadn't just ignored my pain. He had lied to his entire family to cover for his own selfishness. That was the moment I stopped feeling guilty about what I was planning next. Lies have a way of falling apart the moment someone shines a light on them. And that Saturday night, sitting with my sister in the kitchen, going through everything David had said to his family, I realized this wasn't just about one bad decision. This was a pattern. My sister reminded me of the birthday dinner David canceled last year because his brother needed a ride to the airport. She reminded me of the anniversary trip he postponed twice for his family's convenience. Every single time, my needs were negotiable. His family's needs were not. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was done being invisible in my own marriage. That night, I sent David's mother a short list, not accusations, just facts. my surgery date, my doctor's note, the recovery timeline, and a screenshot of a text message David had sent his brother, a message my sister had accidentally seen open on his phone weeks earlier, joking that I was being sensitive about the surgery thing. I didn't send it to hurt David. I sent it because his family deserved the truth before they arrived at my doorstep expecting a warm welcome and a home-cooked feast from a woman who could barely stand. David had no idea any of this happened. He went to bed that night still congratulating himself for handling me. He had no idea Sunday was going to look nothing like he imagined. The doorbell rang at exactly 10 in the morning. David rushed to open it, greeting his parents with a big hug and a proud smile, ready to show off the home he had prepared for 2 weeks of family bonding. But something was different. His mother's face wasn't warm. His father's expression was stiff. His siblings exchanged uncomfortable glances instead of walking in with suitcases and enthusiasm. David turned around, confused, just as I stepped into the living room, dressed, composed, and standing taller than he expected. "David," his mother said quietly, "we need to talk. All of us." That was the moment his confidence cracked. His mother explained, calmly but firmly, everything I had told her. The surgery, the doctor's orders, the lie he told the family, the dismissive text message. She looked her son directly in the eyes and said words that hit harder than any argument I could have made myself. "You told us she was fine. You told us she wanted this. Sarah didn't want any of this. She needed rest, and you ignored her." David's face turned pale. He looked at me, then at his family, searching for an excuse, but there wasn't one left to give. His father, a retired serviceman himself, shook his head with visible disappointment. "Son, you don't treat someone who serves this country, someone who serves this family, like she doesn't matter." For the first time in our marriage, David had nowhere to hide. David tried to defend himself, stumbling over his words, blaming stress, blaming timing, blaming anything except his own choices. But his family wasn't buying it anymore. His sister, the one closest to me, stepped forward. "Sarah, I'm so sorry. If we had known the truth, we never would have pushed for this. We would have come next month." One by one, his family turned their bags around. His parents made new travel plans. His brother apologized directly to me, admitting he had questioned David privately about the timing, but David insisted everything was fine. Within 2 hours, the house that was supposed to hold 10 guests for 2 weeks held only 2 people, David and me, standing in a silence heavier than any argument we'd ever had. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply looked at him and said the same 4 words he had said to me. "Just do as I said." Then I told him clearly what I needed: respect, honesty, and a partner who protects me instead of using me to please everyone else. David broke down. He admitted he had been selfish, that he prioritized his family's comfort over my healing because he was afraid of disappointing them. But fear was never an excuse to sacrifice my well-being. The weeks that followed were not easy. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight. David spent those 2 weeks, the same 2 weeks his family was originally supposed to stay, actually taking care of me. He learned how to cook the meals my doctor recommended. He drove me to physical therapy. He apologized to his family, this time with full honesty, not spin. His parents visited a month later, just for a weekend, exactly as it should have been from the beginning, respectful, welcomed, and timed around my recovery, not around David's fear of saying no to his family. Slowly, David began to understand something important. Loving someone doesn't mean sacrificing them for everyone else's comfort. A good husband doesn't choose his family's convenience over his wife's health. And respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn through your actions. I share this story not to shame anyone, but because too many people, especially women, are taught that their pain is negotiable, that their needs are less important than keeping the peace with others. If someone truly loves you, they will protect your peace, especially when you're at your weakest. And if they don't, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't anger or revenge in the traditional sense. It's simply telling the truth and letting people see clearly who someone really is. David learned his lesson the hard way, in front of the people whose opinion he valued most. But more importantly, I learned that I never have to shrink myself or my pain to keep someone else comfortable. If this story resonated with you, remember this: your needs are valid, your body deserves respect, and speaking your truth is never wrong, even when it's hard. Thank you for watching. If you believe every person deserves to be heard, especially in their own home, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real stories of strength, truth, and justice.